Picture this: June 25, 2009, Los Angeles, California. It's a warm Thursday morning. In a rented mansion in the upscale Holmby Hills neighborhood, a man lies unconscious in his bedroom. He's not breathing. His heart has stopped. His personal doctor is frantically trying to revive him. The man is Michael Jackson, the king of pop, one of the most famous people who has ever lived, and in a few hours the world will learn that he's dead. Michael Jackson is 50 years old. He's preparing for what he hopes will be the greatest comeback in music history. A series of 50 concerts in London called This Is It. The shows are sold out. 800,000 tickets, millions of dollars, the chance to prove he's still the king. But Michael will never make it to London. He will never perform those concerts, because on this June morning something goes terribly wrong. At 12:21 p.m., paramedics arrive at the mansion. They find Michael Jackson in cardiac arrest. They try to revive him. They load him into an ambulance. At 12:38 p.m., the ambulance rushes to UCLA Medical Center, sirens blaring. Doctors work desperately to save him, but it's too late. At 2:26 p.m., Michael Jackson is pronounced dead. Within minutes, the news breaks. Twitter explodes. News channels interrupt their programming. People around the world stop what they're doing and stare at their screens in disbelief. Michael Jackson is dead? How? Why? What happened? The world goes into shock. Fans gather outside the hospital, crying, praying, unable to accept it. Vigils form spontaneously in cities around the globe. From Los Angeles to London to Tokyo, millions mourn. But as the shock wears off, questions emerge. What killed Michael Jackson? Was it an accident, negligence, something more sinister? And why was his doctor performing CPR on a bed instead of calling 911 immediately? This is the story of Michael Jackson's death, the final 24 hours of the king of pop's life. What happened in that mansion? The doctor who was supposed to protect him, the drug that killed him, the investigation that followed, and the trial that revealed shocking details about Michael's last days. Let me take you through June 24 and 25, 2009, the final hours of Michael Jackson's life, and the tragedy that ended one of the most extraordinary careers in music history. To understand Michael Jackson's death, you need to understand where he was in his life in June 2009. Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana. He was the eighth of 10 children in the Jackson family. His father, Joe Jackson, was a steel mill worker who saw his children's musical talent as a ticket out of poverty. Joe formed a group with his sons called the Jackson 5. Michael, the youngest, became the lead singer. He was 5 years old. The group performed at local clubs, talent shows, and eventually caught the attention of Motown Records. By 1969, when Michael was 11, the Jackson 5 were superstars. Their first 4 singles all reached #1. Michael was a child prodigy, charismatic, talented beyond his years, with a voice that captivated audiences. But Michael's childhood was stolen. He later described it as abusive. His father was strict, demanding, sometimes violent. Michael said he was terrified of his father, that he never had a normal childhood, that he worked when other kids played. In the 1970s, Michael went solo, and in the 1980s he became the biggest star on the planet. The album Thriller, released in 1982, became the best-selling album of all time. Over 70 million copies sold. The music video for the title track revolutionized the music video format. Michael wasn't just a singer, he was a performer. The moonwalk, the white glove, the military jackets. He was a cultural icon, the king of pop. But by the 1990s, Michael's life became increasingly troubled. Child abuse allegations in 1993, a $23 million settlement with the accuser. More allegations in 2003, leading to a trial in 2005. Michael was acquitted of all charges, but the damage to his reputation was immense. Michael's appearance also changed dramatically. His skin lightened, his nose became smaller, then smaller still, until it appeared damaged from too many surgeries. He claimed he had vitiligo, a skin condition that destroys pigment. Some believed him. Others thought he was bleaching his skin. Michael became reclusive. He lived in Neverland Ranch, a massive estate with a private amusement park and zoo. But after the 2005 trial, he left Neverland and never returned. He moved to Bahrain, then Ireland, then Las Vegas, never settling. Financially, Michael was struggling. Despite earning hundreds of millions over his career, he spent extravagantly. By the mid-2000s, he was hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. He faced foreclosure on Neverland. He needed money. In 2009, Michael announced a comeback. A series of concerts at the O2 Arena in London. Originally 10 shows, the demand was so great that it expanded to 50. The tour was called This Is It. For Michael, it was a chance to prove himself, to show the world he was still the king, to earn enough money to pay off his debts and secure his children's future. But Michael was not in good health. He was thin, frail, insomniac, addicted to prescription drugs, and he was terrified of performing again. The pressure was immense, and on June 25, 2009, his body gave out. June 24, 2009, Michael Jackson is at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, rehearsing for the This Is It tour. It's late at night. The concert is less than 3 weeks away. The first show is scheduled for July 13th in London. Michael is on stage, performing. He's singing, dancing, running through the set list. His director, Kenny Ortega, watches. Michael's backup dancers and band are there. Cameras are rolling, capturing footage for what will later become the documentary film This Is It. By all accounts, this rehearsal goes well. Michael is energetic, engaged, performing at a high level. He runs through several songs. He seems happy, excited. Some crew members will later say this was the best they'd seen him in weeks. But others are concerned. Michael is thin, too thin. Some say he looks gaunt, exhausted. He's wearing multiple layers of clothing even though it's warm, trying to stay warm because he's so underweight. The rehearsal ends around midnight. Michael leaves the Staples Center and is driven back to his rented mansion in Holmby Hills, a wealthy neighborhood in Los Angeles. The mansion is large, luxurious with high ceilings and expensive furnishings. Michael is renting it for $100,000 a month. Michael arrives home after midnight. It's now the early hours of June 25th. Waiting for him at the mansion is Dr. Conrad Murray, a cardiologist from Las Vegas. Murray has been hired by AEG Live, the company promoting the This Is It tour, to be Michael's personal physician. His job is to keep Michael healthy and ready to perform. He's being paid $150,000 a month. But Dr. Murray isn't just a doctor, he's also Michael's drug supplier. And on this night, like many nights before, Murray will give Michael powerful drugs to help him sleep. Michael Jackson struggles with insomnia. He has for years. He calls it his biggest problem. He can't sleep. His mind races. He's anxious about the tour, about money, about his children. He lies awake for hours, unable to rest. Over the years, Michael has turned to drugs to help him sleep, not street drugs, prescription medications, sedatives, painkillers, anesthetics, powerful substances that doctors normally use in hospitals, not bedrooms. And Michael has found doctors willing to give him what he wants. Dr. Conrad Murray is one of them. The early morning hours of June 25, 2009, Michael is in his bedroom on the second floor of the mansion. Dr. Murray is with him. Michael asks for something to help him sleep. He's exhausted but wired. He needs rest. The pressure of the upcoming tour is overwhelming. Dr. Murray has been giving Michael drugs every night to help him sleep. It's a dangerous routine, but Michael insists, and Murray complies. According to Murray's later testimony, here's what happens in those hours. 1:30 a.m. Murray gives Michael 10 milligrams of Valium, a sedative. It doesn't work. Michael is still awake. 2 a.m. Murray injects Michael with 2 milligrams of Lorazepam, another sedative, through an IV. Still Michael can't sleep. 3 a.m. Murray gives Michael 2 milligrams of Midazolam, a powerful sedative used for anesthesia. Michael remains awake, restless, begging for sleep. 5 a.m. Murray gives Michael another 2 milligrams of Lorazepam. Nothing. Michael is still conscious, frustrated, desperate. 7:30 a.m. Murray gives Michael another 2 milligrams of Midazolam. By now, Michael has been given a cocktail of sedatives that would knock most people unconscious. But Michael has built up a tolerance. His body is used to these drugs. He's still awake. 10:40 a.m. Michael is desperate. He begs Dr. Murray for milk. That's Michael's nickname for PROPOFOL, a powerful anesthetic used in hospitals to put patients to sleep for surgery. PROPOFOL is a milky white liquid. It's fast-acting, effective, and extremely dangerous outside of a hospital setting. Dr. Murray has been giving Michael PROPOFOL nearly every night for weeks. It's the only thing that works. But PROPOFOL is not a sleep aid. It's an anesthetic. It doesn't produce natural sleep. It produces unconsciousness, and it requires constant monitoring. In hospitals, an anesthesiologist watches the patient every second, with monitoring equipment, ready to intervene if breathing or heart rate becomes dangerous. But Dr. Murray is alone in a bedroom, no monitoring equipment, no backup, no training in anesthesiology. At approximately 10:40 a.m., Dr. Murray gives Michael Jackson 25 milligrams of PROPOFOL through an IV. Finally, Michael falls asleep. Dr. Murray later claims he stayed with Michael, monitoring him, but phone records tell a different story. At 11:18 a.m., Murray makes a phone call, 47 minutes long. He's talking to his girlfriend. At 11:49 a.m., another call, another girlfriend, 11 minutes. At 11:51 a.m., another call, 32 minutes. Dr. Murray is on the phone, distracted, not watching Michael closely, and during this time, something goes terribly wrong. Michael stops breathing, his heart slows. The propofol, combined with the other drugs in his system, has caused respiratory failure. Without oxygen, his brain and organs begin to shut down. At some point around noon, Murray realizes something is wrong. He sees Michael isn't breathing. He panics. Murray later claims he immediately started CPR, but this is where his story doesn't make sense. Murray performs CPR on the bed. Any medical professional knows CPR must be done on a hard surface, not a soft mattress. It's ineffective otherwise. Why didn't Murray move Michael to the floor? Murray also doesn't call 911 immediately. Instead, he spends precious minutes calling Michael's personal assistant and others, asking for help, trying to figure out what to do. By the time Murray finally tells someone to call 911, it's too late. Michael has been without oxygen for too long. At 12:21 p.m., paramedics arrive. They find Michael Jackson in his bedroom, not breathing, no pulse. Dr. Murray is performing CPR, but it's not working. Paramedics take over. They ask Murray what drugs Michael has taken. Murray mentions Lorazepam and some other medications, but he doesn't mention the propofol. He hides the IV bag. He lies to the paramedics, and this lie wastes more precious time. Paramedics work on Michael for 42 minutes in the bedroom. They administer drugs, perform advanced cardiac life support, but there's no response. Michael is gone. At 12:38 p.m., they load Michael onto a stretcher and into an ambulance. Dr. Murray rides along. The ambulance speeds to UCLA Medical Center just a few miles away. At the hospital, doctors continue trying to revive Michael. They work for over an hour, but it's hopeless. Michael Jackson has been in cardiac arrest for too long. His brain has been without oxygen. There's no coming back. At 2:26 p.m., doctors pronounce Michael Jackson dead. He's 50 years old. Dr. Murray is in the room. He's crying. He knows what's happened. He knows his actions, his negligence, his lies have killed the king of pop. But Murray doesn't tell anyone the truth. Not yet. For hours he avoids police. He avoids giving a statement, and he continues to hide the propofol. At 2:44 p.m., TMZ, the celebrity gossip website, breaks the news. They report Michael Jackson has died. Other outlets are cautious, waiting for confirmation, but TMZ is certain, and they're right. Within minutes the world knows. Twitter crashes from the volume of posts. News channels switch to breaking news coverage. Around the globe, people stop what they're doing. Michael Jackson is dead. The shock is immense. Michael Jackson was more than a celebrity. He was a global icon. Generations grew up with his music. From the Jackson 5 to Thriller to his later work, Michael's music was the soundtrack of millions of lives. Outside UCLA Medical Center, fans begin to gather. They cry, they hug, they hold. Vigil. Candles are lit. Flowers are placed. People can't believe it. The king of pop is gone. Around the world, impromptu memorials form. In New York, Los Angeles, London, Tokyo, fans gather to mourn. Michael's music plays. People dance, cry, sing. It's a collective outpouring of grief. But as the shock begins to fade, questions arise. How did Michael Jackson die? What happened in that mansion? And who is responsible? In the hours and days after Michael's death, investigators begin piecing together what happened. Police search the mansion. They find dozens of prescription drug bottles, propofol, Lorazepam, Midazolam, other sedatives and painkillers. The bedroom looks like a pharmacy. They question Dr. Conrad Murray. At first, Murray is evasive, but eventually, he admits he gave Michael propofol. He describes the timeline of drugs he administered. He claims he was trying to wean Michael off propofol, that Michael was addicted, that Michael begged him for it. Toxicology reports come back. Michael's body has lethal levels of propofol. The combination of propofol and other sedatives caused acute propofol intoxication. The official cause of death: homicide. Not murder, but homicide caused by another person's actions. Dr. Conrad Murray is charged with involuntary manslaughter. The charge suggests Murray didn't intend to kill Michael, but his gross negligence caused Michael's death. The investigation reveals shocking details. Murray ordered large quantities of propofol in the months leading up to Michael's death. He had it shipped to his girlfriend's apartment to hide the purchases. He was giving Michael propofol almost every night, turning Michael's bedroom into a makeshift operating room without proper equipment or training. Murray's actions were reckless. Propofol should never be used outside a hospital. It requires constant monitoring, oxygen equipment, resuscitation tools. Murray had none of this. He was administering a dangerous drug, then leaving Michael alone while he made phone calls. Murray also lied. He didn't tell paramedics about the propofol. He hid evidence. He delayed calling 911. Every one of these actions reduced Michael's chance of survival. The trial begins in September 2011. It's broadcast live, watched by millions around the world. The prosecution argues Murray was grossly negligent, that his actions directly caused Michael's death. The defense argues Michael self-administered a fatal dose of propofol while Murray was out of the room, that Michael was desperate and addicted, that Murray was trying to help. The trial lasts 6 weeks. Witnesses testify. Medical experts explain how propofol works, how dangerous it is, how Murray's actions violated every standard of medical care. On November 7, 2011, the jury reaches a verdict.
Guilty.
Dr. Conrad Murray is convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Murray is sentenced to 4 years in prison, the maximum sentence for the charge. He serves 2 years before being released on parole. For many, the sentence feels inadequate. Dr. Conrad Murray killed Michael Jackson, and he served just 2 years. Michael Jackson's death was a tragedy, but it was also preventable. If Murray had followed basic medical protocols, if he'd refused to give Michael propofol, if he'd called 911 immediately when things went wrong, Michael might have survived. Michael's death also highlights a larger problem: celebrity doctors, physicians who cater to wealthy, famous clients, who give them whatever they want, who prioritize money over ethics. Michael Jackson had access to the best doctors in the world, but instead he surrounded himself with enablers, people who said yes, who gave him drugs, who didn't protect him from himself. Michael was an addict, not to street drugs, but to prescription medications, painkillers, sedatives, anesthetics. He'd been using them for years, ever since a 1984 accident during a Pepsi commercial when his hair caught fire, and he suffered severe burns. The pain led to painkillers. The painkillers led to dependence. By 2009, Michael's tolerance was so high that normal doses didn't work. He needed more, stronger. He couldn't sleep without propofol, and he found a doctor willing to give it to him. Dr. Murray was in financial trouble. He had debts, child support payments, a struggling practice. The $150,000 a month AEG Live was paying him to care for Michael was life-changing money, and so Murray did what Michael wanted, even when it was dangerous. Michael Jackson's death was the result of addiction, enablement, negligence, and desperation, a perfect storm that ended in tragedy. Michael Jackson died on June 25, 2009, at 2:26 p.m., but his legacy lives on. Michael left behind 3 children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. They were 11, and 7 years old when their father died. Michael's mother, Catherine Jackson, was given custody. The children grew up out of the spotlight as Michael would have wanted. Michael's music remains timeless. Thriller is still the best-selling album of all time. His influence on pop, R&B, and music videos is immeasurable. Artists across genres cite Michael as an inspiration. But Michael's legacy is complicated. The child abuse allegations, the strange behavior, the changing appearance, the eccentricities. For some, Michael will always be the king of pop, a misunderstood genius. For others, he'll always be a troubled figure whose actions raise serious questions. After his death, a documentary film called This Is It was released, compiled from rehearsal footage. It shows Michael in his final weeks, preparing for the London concerts. He looks focused, energetic, still capable of greatness. It's bittersweet. The world got a glimpse of what could have been. Michael Jackson's funeral was held on July 7, 2009, at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. It was broadcast live, watched by millions. Celebrities, family, and fans paid tribute. His golden casket was displayed. His daughter Paris gave a tearful speech, calling him the best father ever. Michael was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale, California. In the years since, conspiracy theories have emerged. Some believe Michael faked his death, that he's alive somewhere, hiding. These theories are fueled by supposed sightings, blurry photos, misinterpreted statements, but there's no credible evidence. Michael Jackson is dead. June 25, 2009, a warm Thursday in Los Angeles. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, lies in his bedroom, unable to sleep. He begs his doctor for help. The doctor gives him propofol, a dangerous drug. The doctor makes phone calls. Distracted, Michael stops breathing. By the time help arrives, it's too late. At 2:26 p.m., Michael Jackson is pronounced dead. He's 50 years old. He never performs in London. He never makes his comeback. His children lose their father. The world loses an icon. Dr. Conrad Murray is convicted of involuntary manslaughter. He serves 2 years in prison. Michael Jackson's death was a tragedy, a preventable tragedy, the result of addiction, negligence, and a system that failed to protect a vulnerable man. June 25, 2009, the day the king of pop died, the final 24 hours, the drugs, the lies, the panic, and the moment the world stood still. Michael Jackson, born August 29, 1958, died June 25, 2009, the king of pop, gone too soon.